Hey guys, Jonah here. We got another beer review that I wasn't really planning, but I was up in London over on the South Bank, and they had a market there, and I have been there before with such a market, and guess what I found? Meantime, and I bought a glass, obviously. Don't worry, I think that's quite a nice glass. All sorts of weird etchings and stuff. And if you can see down the bottom there, probably the camera won't pick it up, but we've got an etching of a sort of Meantime wheel. Meantime. Pretty cool, huh? Well, Meantime and South Bank they've got a pitch there, I think, these days. I had to pick up a beer as well. And if that's focusing, that should be Yakima Red beer. And this is a very, very nice beer. It's not that strong, 4.1%, and it's in a little bottle. And yes, Meantime, come on, sort it out. Get the bigger bottles. I know you've got those whacking great dongers, but just a pint bottle would be nice. And you've got a little cap on the crown, yeah, and a little neck sheath there. I mean, Meantime is one of my favourite brewers. It really, really is. Windsor and Eton are up there as well. But for new brewers, and I know people are waxing lyrical about the kernel, not that kind of kernel. It's a kernel like a husk, I guess, like a barley kernel, perhaps. I haven't tried any of their beers yet, but I will do. Don't you worry, guys. But Meantime, very, very good. Very good brewery. And a bit of London too. Bit of London, you know what I mean? Welcome to London. Right, this has been in my bag on the train home. Ooh. Interesting, very interesting. Yakima Red. This says on the label, 5 different varieties of Yakima Valley hop. And as we all know, Yakima Valley is in Washington State, I should say, not Washington DC. And you got things like Cascade, for example. So all American style hops in this bad boy, which is kind of what Meantime beers are about. There's a lot of American style hops in there, which a lot of people are using. So Meantime, I know you do traditional ones too, but we'd like to see a lot more traditional hoppage. Look at that really dark colour, beautiful for autumn. It's described as a red ale, so that's what I'm going to call it, but it's a bit more kind of dark amber, maybe a conker kind of colour. Good fingers head on there, big old bubbles on that thing, and let's have a look. Are they coming off the etching? We're getting a lot of bubbles. I don't know if you can see that. Very clear. Hey, you can see me through there. But a huge amount of bubbles, and it looks like, yeah, they're coming off the etching in the glass. So we're going to get a good head on there. Let's get my nose in there. Yeah, we're getting that citrusy kind of, there's going to be Cascade definitely in here, but we've got a subtle sort of pininess, you know, like pine trees in the autumn with water coming off them. If you're in London, go to Kew Gardens, you'll know what I mean, in the Arboretum, you know, with all the pine trees. Oh, lovely, lovely. And there's a bit of kind of grassy citrus in there too. So 5 different hops, you'd be pushed to pick those out. Eddie malt, there's a slight kind of oranginess around, so it's citrus definitely, but more of a kind of orange or a clementine or a tangerine kind of stuff. Meantime, one of the new brewers, as I say, they are all about the hoppage. So I'm going to let this one settle down a little bit to get the best thing out of it. I like swirling beers around because you generate a big head, but also it lets the hops come out. This is, I mean, what more can I say? This is definitely New World. And dare I say it, I know they're not as extreme as Brewdog are up in the Scotland, but Meantime are definitely doing some interesting beers, slightly under the radar compared to what Brewdog are doing. They're definitely along the kind of new wave sort of British American style, if that makes sense. So British breweries that are springing up, microbreweries, and they're definitely going for the American style. I also had a pint while I was up at the stall. I had a pint of their London IPA. Same thing. It was sorry, not IPA. It was just the London Pale Ale. It was packed with hops. It really, really hopped. And this is smelling like it is too. Maybe a hint of nettle as well. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely that kind of thing. Anyway, I've been using my nose too much. I have to, because I had that cold for a while, and hey, my nose is back, and I'm experiencing all these new smells, and oh, very, very nice. Shut up, Jonah. Let's get in there. Meantime, Yakima Red. Ooh, ooh! I'm getting the malty taste. That's interesting. Oh, and there are the hops coming through secondary. So up front we've got a nice kind of sweet stroke biscuity malt. Very, very nice. I like that malt taste. And then you've got the bitterness, but it's not really bitter. It's quite a mild bitter taste towards the end, and I'm picking out, yeah, pine from a forest, but a bit of sweetness, sweet orange. A lot of the flavours that I could smell are definitely in the taste. But it's quite mild. It's not as pronounced in the hops as it is in the aroma. This is a very nice beer. It's a shame it's in such a small bottle, because I reckon I could knock a few of these back. Meantime, if you're looking, and hopefully you are looking, because you're interested in what Uncle John has got to say, make this Yakima Valley one, put it in one of those big bottles, you know, the big donger bottles, because I think this would sell really well, especially over the autumn time. Look at that. If you care about such things, we have good amount of lacing on the glass. And as you can see, it's very well carbonated, but I'm not getting that feeling of kind of belching, which is good. So we're getting a lovely biscuit caramel sort of taste up front, tailing off towards a little bit of bitterness, but not really bitter. This is quite a smooth beer. For you real hopheads out there, you'll love the smell, but I think you'll be disappointed by the taste. However, the people that are more kind of into their traditional beers and bitters and stuff, I think you like this. This is definitely a mellow kind of drink. You could drink in a pub. If this was on draft, you could have a fair few of these down the pub, have a chat with your mates, wax lyrical, as Uncle John usually does, about how the American hop has taken over the British pint. Let's leave it at that. Another very good beer from Meantime. Thanks for the glass. Look at that. It's a lovely glass, man. I'm impressed with that. And we've got a pint line as well, so we've got room for head, which is always good, like the camera glasses have. So I'm well pleased, and I even got a bit of a deal with the guy from behind the counter, so got a little bit of money off my purchases because I bought 3 things all in one go. Guys, been a pleasure. I'm going to finish this off. You can find this stuff. Get one of these small ones. Try it out for yourself. I quite like it. Cheers, guys.